This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I'm here with Cat Fairchild, who's joining us all the way from Failla in California. How are you today?
So great, thanks for having me.
So we've been tasting through your range of wines, and I've always been a fan of Failla. I've had a few opportunities to taste Failla, mainly when I've been visiting the West Coast, in restaurants in San Francisco and the like. But they're quite new to this market. For those people unfamiliar with Failla, what can you tell me about the history of the brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ehren Jordan is our owner and winemaker. Ehren has been making wine in California for almost 30 years and worked with almost every varietal imaginable. So Ehren made the Turley Zinfandels for 18 years, worked at Joseph Phelps, worked for Marcusson, winemaker at Nyers as well, and then started Failla in 1998, really focusing on cooler climate sites, a lot of organic farming, and also hands-off winemaking approach. So we're really focusing on the farming side of the things. All of the main decisions are made within the vineyard, and then we really let those amazing grapes do their thing in the cellar.
Now, the winery itself is based in Napa, but you source fruit from all over. Where are you getting fruit from these days?
So predominantly Sonoma County. We really focus on the western portion of the Sonoma coast. Our first vineyard site was actually in Fort Ross Seaview, is an estate property of ours, but we work with vineyards ranging all the way from Fort Ross Seaview actually up to Annapolis, which is almost as far northwest as you can get in Sonoma County, all the way down to the Petaluma Gap. We also work with a vineyard in the Anderson Valley called Savoy, and then most recently Ehren has jumped up to Oregon. So
wow.
A lot of the West Coast.
And varietal-wise, where are your focuses?
So Failla is predominantly Chardonnay and Pinot. We make a little Syrah, and for years we made Viognier as well, but we do not make Viognier anymore as of 2013. And then 3 years ago we launched the Day Zinfandel label, which of course is Zinfandel and focusing once again on Sonoma County.
Now, there is a certain history behind the names of both Failla and Day. Would you mind explaining that?
Of course. So both family names. Failla is the middle name of Ehren's oldest daughter, Audrey. And Ehren actually heard older Audrey telling younger Vivian, "Mom and Dad love me more. The winery is named after me." So now we have Day for little Vivian Day. So peacekeeping between the two girls.
And you mentioned that there is actually a third child in the mix now, so there could be a new project on the horizon.
There is a new project on the horizon, and Ehren's definitely gonna follow his taste buds there as well. So he spent some decent amount of time in Europe and likes to drink more esoteric varietals. So thinking that it'll be a project including Chenin Blanc, Pulsard, Trousseau, and possibly some Gruner and Riesling as well.
Now, you mentioned Viognier in the past and Syrah today, and that's a bit of a nod to Ehren's time in the Northern Rhone, I think.
Yes, it is. So Ehren, in his early portion of the career, worked 2 years in the Northern Rhone under Jean-Luc Colombo, and Jean-Luc consults for quite a few people all over Europe. So it was just Jean-Luc and Ehren traveling all over Europe for 2 years. So Ehren really received a knowledge of European wines, and a lot of that inspiration is now channeled through the Failla wines.
Now, would you mind telling us a little about the three wines that we have in front of us? Because I know these are available in the market right now.
Absolutely. So first here I have our Sonoma Coast Chardonnay, and this vintage is 2015. So with this wine, it's a blend of vineyard sites in Sonoma County, and it's really our version of a snapshot of that region. Focusing on Fort Ross Seaview, some western and northern Russian River Valley, in a little freestone Occidental area. Like I said, hands-off winemaking. So we just use a couple vessels to really create the style that we're looking for. So we're working with concrete eggs, French oak, very minimal new oak, so only about 5%, and then stainless steel. The second wine I have here is the Kiefer Ranch Vineyard, which is our longest standing single vineyard designate within the Russian River Valley, specifically Green Valley. So it's a cooler subclimate. Was actually originally only used for sparkling wine, so that demonstrates how cool of an area this is.
Is that climate change at work there?
You know what, I think this actually, it has stayed fairly cool there.
Oh, really?
It tends to be a little bit lower than other parts of the Russian River Valley, so it tends to be a little bit more foggy, and actually even the southern part of this vineyard is colder than the north, so that leads you into the expansiveness of the Russian River, and that all of these groups in different neighborhoods are starting to emerge and saying, we have a very different subclimate here and here, and Green Valley actually has been named its own AVA because it is so distinctive from other parts of the Russian River.
How has climate change impacted your other vineyard sites? Is there anything that over the 20 years at Failla, you've seen changes in those vineyards?
Absolutely. I think when you're a farmer, and like Ehren farming for all these years in California, that you see these changes. So for instance, on our estate property in Fort Ross Seaview, that used to be known as a very cold area on the coast, and now we see quite a few days over 100. So it's probably the warmest part of that western Sonoma coast area.
Yes. And finally, this third wine, the Days Zinfandel.
Yes. So as I mentioned, our newest label, Ehren is really focusing once again on Sonoma County. It's in his backyard. He's working with other varieties in that area. And so we're creating a Zinfandel that's also a blend of vineyard sites in the northern Russian River and Dry Creek area, but also making it in a Pinot Noir facility. So we're treating it in a very similar fashion with open top stainless steel fermenters and neutral French oak. And of course, you can see we have all Burgundy bottles here. So Ehren wanted to keep it as simple as possible. He wanted all of his wines to fit on the same shelf.
And there's a nice little Turley connection to the whole Zinfandel story, of course, because Ehren would have been making wine for Larry for such a long time, but a very different style of wine that Ehren is making for the Day range, is it not?
It is very different. One, it's Sonoma County fruit, where Turley didn't have the largest presence in that area,
yes.
So those northern Russian River Valley sites can be cooler. Also, I think Ehren's really bringing in a lot of influence on what he's been doing the past 20 years with Failla. Also farming influence, so really focusing on the ripe fruit within an uneven ripening Zinfandel vineyard.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
And even the concept of making Zinfandel in a Pinot Noir facility. So I think stylistically it's very different than what he's made in the past.
Well, these were gorgeous wines we've seen today, and thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution, Cat. We hope to see you again in Toronto or perhaps down in California.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.